supportive bosses, supportive companies, supportive partners, all of that combined together gives you that ability to do it.
Just because you love to do something doesn't mean you should be doing it.
Life is a journey, so don't try to die on a passion, right? Make sure that with passion you also build other things in your life.
Sweetest thing, and it don't change. If I had it my way, you will know that you are. You're the coffee that I need in the morning. You're my sunshine when it rains, when it's pouring. Won't you give yourself to me? Give it up. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. Where you go, I follow. No matter how far. If life is a movie, then you're the best part. You're the best part. Here's a sunrise, have those brown eyes. Here's the one that I desire. When we wake up and we make love, it makes me feel so nice. You're my water when I'm stuck in the desert. You're the tenor when I'm stuck and my head hurts. You're the one that I desire. I just wanna see how beautiful you are. You know that I see it. I know you're a star. Where you go, I follow. No matter how far. If life is so moving, then you're the best part. You're the best part. Best part.
Wow, that
Thank
was
you.
beautiful. How do you sound so good, like live?
Don't lie.
So guys, this is the third and the final segment of our podcast today. And here we're going to speak all about the hustle of becoming a musician. So I'd like to start with Shavi actually. Can you tell me what really goes in right before a gig, in terms of commitment, practice, the hours that you guys put in, what do you all do to prep for an event?
So to get to the event, you have to be at it. There's a constant, you have to keep practicing, you have to keep singing, you have to, get familiar with what you're doing to get to the event. Before the event, of course, the prep is such that, you have to keep, if it's a band, then the band has to practice properly, all the songs need to be, musicality comes in, all that, you create a bit of, like musical, let's say musical thrills, for example, like musical parts where, you have like half times and dead stops and all this, you make the song interesting because you're doing, maybe a set or something, then that has to be, you need to captivate the audience. So as a vocalist, you have to be doing vocal warm-ups, which we don't do. I don't do, at least. Should we do vocal warm-ups? No. No?
I
very
think she
important.
needs
no,
them.
but,
It's really
you
good.
need to. You need
It's
to.
very important.
It's very important.
So as vocalist, of course, you take it's like blowing a balloon. So, if you don't pull it like this before blowing it, it's going to pop. So it's the same kind of thing. But it's
Like bigger artists, they do that. Like, artists like, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey,
Michael
Beyonce.
Jackson has a vocal coach and he does his vocal warm-ups and everything. So
Then who are we? Like,
yeah.
we need to
So
put act
it's
together.
important to get the right help also before you start. Getting help along the way is not a problem. There is no, so like I said, if the prep towards a gig, there is a lot of practice. In anything it's the same, in corporate or your education or whatever, there is a prep before the exam. You have to do your homework, you have to do your preparations, you have to do your revisions. All of those things come into play and then you ace your exam or your whatever, So there's a lot that has to happen. In terms of even, for example, as a vocalist, you need to have the right guidance. First of all, you need a lot of talent first. You can't just do it. So then you have to have vocal practices, warm-ups. So even like I said, Michael Jackson has a vocal coach. So I don't think that vocal coach can teach Michael Jackson anything. But he's a person who will tell you where you're going wrong and all that. So and keeps you on the right track. Doesn't mean he's a better singer, but it's just somebody from the outside, telling you what to do. So that's the preparation that you need to be doing to get to a certain point. There is a bigger journey for everybody. If you take some of the biggest stars, there's a bigger journey. But to get to that point, there's, all those things come into play, little bits and pieces.
Yeah, makes sense actually. Yeah.
And to prepare yourself, you need to prepare yourself also not to compare yourselves with others. Because that's the main point, that you would be like, okay, I'm not good enough also. You think that I'm not good enough, or maybe my vocal range is different, or maybe I'm not too loud, or maybe I'm not a good, performer, as another person. The moment you try to do that comparison, you as a musician, you just, stop yourself from doing it. So you need to find your art and where your skill is at as a musician, because a musician can be talented in different ways, right? You can be good in rap, right? You can be good in, singing and playing, you can be good in just only singing. If I did have the talent to play, that would add value. But, my talent is basically just my vocals. But Viroshan, he can really rap well and he can play the bass, where Shavindra, he can sing and play. So you need to find, and then Shavindra would not be able to do a rap song. That is not his genre.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have to do everything to please everybody also.
Yeah.
So just know what your focus area and what you're good at. Just try to brand that and move forward with that.
Work hard on that skill,
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I think that's very important, because we always try to be good at everything.
You can't
but
be
just
Beyonce,
one day.
Yeah, you can't. You never can. Not even one
Can
day.
be Beyonce, but not Beyonce.
Viroshan.
I had to crack some. I had to crack it. I saw an opportunity, I took it.
Yeah. So yeah, you shouldn't compare yourself, or you shouldn't copy another person. Just be you.
Well, thanks for sharing that. So, Viro, I have a very interesting question coming your way. So, in an industry that is so fueled by alcohol and substance, you as a musician and as a part of a band, what is your approach towards that? And why have you selected the certain approach you go about?
Well, I can speak for him as well. We don't consume any sort of alcohol or any sort of substances. But obviously, we are not against it, in the sense it's a personal choice. It's not
First
like
of all, if we don't
Yeah,
have
that's
people drinking and smoking in front of us, we will lose our jobs.
our
So
jobs,
we
our
kind of
jobs
support
revolve
it.
around people consuming at least alcohol, not about other substances. That's not something we how to say promote. But obviously, the alcohol industry is very important. Our entire industry is sustained by alcohol. There are sponsorships. The pubs all run on that revenue. So we have to accept that and respect that. But so that is important. Personal wise, our personal choice, we don't consume anything. But other band members do. But at least what we usually have within our band is, at least we tell them, okay, as long as it doesn't hinder your performance, it's fine. Because this is a job at the end of the day, like going, like we always say, like a corporate job. You go to work, you don't go to work intoxicated. Okay, same way. But some people need a little bit of something so that they can calm their nerves, which is completely fine. Because you have to understand how much some people need it. Some people, they're like the nerves thing. So we didn't want to say that at that time, like trying to promote people to drink. But some people, to calm down their nerves, they take a little bit of something just before performing. That's completely fine. As long as it doesn't hinder your performance and doesn't affect your professionalism on stage, that's fine. Once you're done with the performance, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares in the sense, then the band at least won't bother about what you're doing. But obviously, we are not against it. We're not against it, but that's
Then it's your parents' problem. No, but one thing I want to say is anything abused is bad. It can be water, even water. You drink too much water, it can kill you. So anything in moderation is good. You know your limits. You can have you can drink what you want. But the thing is, know your limits. That's it. When it comes to even whatever you want to take. But some people find it. It's a lot of musicians don't realize at gigs you tend to be mixing your alcohol when you drink. So that's what and that's why you see them, on the floor or completely intoxicated, because they don't realize that they are mixing the alcohol. Whereas a lot of people will stick to one certain brand or whatever. So it's very important as a musician to have that discipline. And after your gig, then do whatever you want. Like I said, then it's your parents' problem.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for sharing that, guys. It's pretty insightful. So the next question I have is actually something that we all just wonder, it's just, we always have this question as a musician, how do you balance other aspects of your life, be it your personal life, your family, even if it's a corporate job or even academics if you want to pursue it. Are there instances where like the musical obligations, sort of clashes with everything else that you have to do in your life, and how do you guys sort of navigate through that and strike that balance? I'll start with Shivi. Why don't you let me know?
So for me, I mean, you need to be able to choose, because at every stage of your life, you will have different commitments, right? So like when I was single and, I was able to do that, I could basically do my corporate job and also continue to do music like a normal musician. But that balance was also there. But then, I couldn't basically focus on my originals or stuff like that at that moment, because I was also doing a corp. So you need to choose what your priorities are. Prioritize your life with whatever that you feel that your passion is also, but make sure that you don't miss out on things that you really love to do. So you need to find that right balance. So when I was single, I did that, and after I got married, I was able to continue with the support system that I had with my family, with my husband, my greatest support system, right? I don't think without him, I will be able to continue to do so. Right, so like even sometimes after gigs, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, he'll be there to come and pick me up.
Shall I call Suraj and tell him that you're saying so many good things about him?
No, obviously, like sometimes you don't realize the sacrifices they make from their side also, because some people can be selfish towards them, thinking that okay, at the end of the day, I just need a wife. Right, regardless, okay, maybe I do bring in, the bread to the, table, I'm maybe the breadwinner of the family in bringing, from the music and the corporate life, the money to the table. But then that doesn't mean that, every family or every spouse would accept it, and especially being a woman. So that sacrifice that a person could make, because I think it's basically purely because he respects me as a musician and he respects me for who I am, and giving me that freedom to do that. So I was able to balance because of that. And my father being the greatest support. Now after getting married and after having a child, doing my corporate job, being a mother, I was also part of the band called Flame, very famous band. Thanks to Shavindra for introducing me.
Shavindra has been very
influenced. It's very, very influential. So, I mean, it was one of my greatest, like also in music, I learned a lot through other band. I'm very proud of being a part of the band. But the more I had to like stick to that band, I felt that, with my corporate life and my my motherhood and work, I felt that because it's a band that is out there who is performing constantly everywhere, right? So I couldn't prioritize family balance. I couldn't balance it. So what I thought was, okay, I just had the discussion, and they're very supportive. So they understood me so well, and they were like, we came into an agreement saying that, okay, I think it's the right time for me after 2 years. But I learned a lot that I need to take that step back and maybe give more focus towards my child. So that's how you prioritize life. But then that didn't stop me from doing music, where now I'm currently doing like kind of freelancing. And I do get gigs like at least thrice a month or 4 times a month. I do get gigs. I play private gigs. Whereas because of that, I was able to go and sing with Slim, and people kind of knew me. I was a part of Cold Sweat. I used to sing with Magic Box.
I'm joking.
Magic Box Mix Up, and I play with this band called Pop Culture, brilliant musicians as well. So because of that part of influence, I am also being able to connect with a lot of other corporates that they invite me personally to come and do private gigs. And also MAS being my company, being so supportive in terms of my music career, they were my second home, that they supported me. Like if I have a gig, I could even go early, right? They would allow me if I just speak to them, or maybe if I want to leave, they would give me. There is no question about it. They wouldn't question you, because at the end of the day, they would know that I would do my work. That accountability was there towards me, and they have built that mutual trust and respect with me, and same towards me with the company. And that flexibility was also there because I did my job. Also, I feel that they trusted me on that.
I mean, she's HR, so she approves her own leave.
No, I do have a boss who does that for me. So I mean, that helped a lot. So your corporate life, also understanding about your passion, and recently when they shared about how they value on their Instagram posts, how they value people who follow their passion, and that I'm like an assistant manager currently and doing all my music career, and how much they encourage people like us to come out there and follow their passion while they're doing their corporate life. So that is actually a motivator for me also to continue to do what I really love. And basically it's how you prioritize in different stages of your life. You can do it maybe for a certain time, and then maybe you take a break, maybe come back. You need to have your plan. I don't think simultaneously, or you can do everything in the same pace throughout your life. It will change gradually, and then you need to be ready and be able to accept it and make your backup plan as to how you're going to approach it. So I think that's what you need to do, and prioritizing whatever that is coming in your life at that stage is the main thing.
And also knowing that like the priorities, like it changes based on the stage of
Exactly.
in your life that you are,
Correct.
like being flexible with it. And,
Exactly.
yeah.
Like I said, so I was single, then I got married,
Yeah.
then now I have a kid. Now how am I prioritizing that? Like, if I don't give that, because now she's just 3, like at least until she's 5, I need to give that focus to her. If I'm going to miss out on that, I will never get that time back.
Yeah, for sure.
So I need to prioritize likewise, and then continue to do so. And I'm not still losing out on my singing. I'm still doing it on and off. So that's a great thing. Like at least I think the platforms are being given, and the people are supporting, and the surroundings are supporting me so much to do so. I'm very grateful for that.
See, I can see Shavi smiling there, like.
No, very true. Very true.
Yeah, but that's true. What about you, Shavi? Do you have anything to add to?
I mean, my situation is completely different because I don't do a corporate job. I'm into music full time. So I get to spend a lot more time with my kids, which I'm very grateful for. If I was doing a day job, then I'll be in the situation where I'll have to choose between how many gigs I play, all that. Right now I have the freedom to play as many gigs as I want, and still have the time to spend with my 2 kids, and and watch them grow up. So that I'm very grateful for. And coming back to even Maria, my wife, she handles everything at home, very very supportive. I've also you have to understand that when you get into this kind of work, it can be a musician, it can be an actor, whatever. There is a certain trust that needs to be built in the home, and and your wife, your spouse and your family needs to be able to understand that, okay, he's going for a job. There's a certain way that they need to be. So you can't be at a gig looking up and waiting, you know, all that. So you need to be, I mean, I would say a little bit, you know, like, see, music is all about feelings and all that kind of stuff, you know. So you have to be a little bit, you know, like, you know, easy breezy kind of situation. So, you know, some people might take it the wrong way. Some people, you know, will understand. So it's very important that you have your family understand your point of view as a frontman of a band, where, you know, how I perform on stage, how I am on stage doesn't reflect the way I'm at home, you know. So you have to make sure those two things are completely different, and you need to have a family that that gives you that space to do that, you know. And otherwise it's going to be a bit of a problem.
So it's important that you have the right support system, and like they are aware of what you guys are doing, and
Exactly.
then there's that mutual understanding.
And to know the, like I said, in different stages, like to know what your purpose is. At the end of the day, if your purpose is, you know, take care of your kid, that's going to be your purpose. That's going to be your priority. At the end of the day, your purpose is to, I'm going to make my original, I'm going to do it. That's going to be your focus, and you're going to fulfill that purpose, and you're going to work towards that purpose. That obviously, you know, directs through also to your goal. So just know what your purpose is at, because when you're a A-level student, your purpose is just basically to get through your A-levels and somehow get into a corporate job. That's your purpose. That's your vision for that stage of life. So different life stages take you through different purposes. So you need to know how to prioritize it, balance it, get your support system also aligned to it.
That's the most
That is your biggest team basically would support you to get.
Thank you for sharing that. That makes a lot of sense actually. And what about you, Viro? Like, how do you navigate the fashion needs?
Well, I've also had a little bit of tough time managing my my time with both sides of my like, in the sense my my professions. Initially, it was really tough because I was also in the corporate world. I was doing a job, but the job was obviously very flexible. But I was doing a job plus lecturing plus music, so there were three things on my plate, and it was difficult to manage that with my. I also have my own other commitments, personal commitments that were also there. So it was difficult for me. So I had to pick then. So then I left my corporate job and I focused only on my lecturing and music. And that helped me in the sense because both are you're your own boss pretty much in both of those things in some way, where you can easily, like for my lecturing wise, I can move my schedules around that work for me. And the music also, if there's some clashes, I can talk to Ian, even do something like that. If there are certain clashes, there are times when both worlds have collided, and then there have been issues where I've had gigs falling at a particular time where I have lectures. So then, thankfully, so far I have navigated through them without losing my job in either one. In the sense that I'll talk to Ian and maybe get some replacement, or I'll talk to my institutes or the universities I teach at and tell them that, okay, can we move my class, or can I make it an online class for that particular session? So then I do it online so that I can go for my gig. Or recently it happened where we were overseas and we were playing a gig and we finished at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I had a class at 7 in the morning. So I just stayed up straight away from the gig like that. Just stayed up.
Breakfast.
Went for breakfast at the hotel and then straight away did an online class at 7 o'clock. Just continued my class. So then it's a bit tough, but you pull through because you know that it's just like a. But one good thing is it's like in blocks throughout the week. So from my weekend is probably Monday, Tuesday. I'm pretty relaxed. There's less classes, less stuff for me to do. But then my weekends are like packed with classes and then gigs, and then next day morning, say 8 o'clock class, and then a gig in the night, and then get up again. It's tough, but then you make it work. So then you rest when you can rest, and then you manage your schedules. One thing our band does is we have a bit of an online calendar where we put all our availabilities and stuff like that. So that helps us. He's doing, like, he put a bit of online calendar. So I'll put my class schedule on that. So then if he gets a gig, he will check with me whether I can move my class around.
That's a great
and stuff like that. Yeah. So because that, it helps me with scheduling my classes. So far, so good. Keeping both jobs so far. Hopefully it continues.
I'm sure it will, but I think the main takeaway is just like, you can do other stuff,
Yes.
and yeah, I mean, see, you guys are just like living examples for that. You guys have your music career, but then you all are invested in other areas of your life, and you all are doing good with it. So that's.
So one thing about those who want to pursue music, you realize, see, if you play a gig out of your 24-hour timeline for a day, you'll play for maybe 4 hours max. You give and take maybe an hour each for travel. That's 6 hours. You still have 18 hours to get 10 hours of sleep and 8 hours to do something of your own as well. So if you put it into that perspective, you can actually get a lot of things done, I mean, it doesn't have to be something that's going to bring you, money, but it can be something of your own time, your investment, like a hobby, maybe sleep, maybe family time, something that you can invest that extra 8 hours. When you put it in that perspective, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, organizing your day as well.
And what she also said, you need supportive bosses, supportive companies, supportive partners. All of that combined together gives you that ability to do it. Because you have that understanding because your jobs also, like the institutes that I teach at and the universities I teach at, that understanding is there. That they know that I have other commitments as well. So obviously you can't be unprofessional and cancel last minute, but you can move stuff around for yourself. So you need that flexibility. If you are working for a company that's like, no, you have to work like this, they're not very flexible, then it's difficult, obviously, because you have events where you need to go early for sound checks, or you have a day event or something like that, then you need that flexibility. Or you need partners who are like understanding that, okay, there are sometimes you might go on a tour, you might go through 1 week out of the country, you might be down south with a couple of days. So you need that support to understand, okay, yeah, you miss out on a weekend. Musicians are busy on the weekend. What to do? Go on date night on Monday. That kind of thing.
That compromising has to be
understanding is
done.
needed.
And that accountability towards even your workplace and towards your spouse, like your support system, even family. Like you need to build that trust and make sure that factors are also covered, because without them you can't do it. So if you break their trust, obviously you won't continue to have that part of your life. So rather you just be single and be a person who doesn't have family at all and just continue to do what you really love. So that's what you need to choose your priority. If you want family, balance, work life, passion, all of that, you need to build that trust towards everybody, win and show that, okay, at work, okay, I am doing my work properly. At home, I am making sure that I cover and I don't go out. I'm just telling it, I just don't go out maybe cheating or maybe flirting with other people, or as a woman, how you build that trust with your spouse is very important, or with your partner. If you're not willing to commit towards it, different story. That is very also important that I would like to mention, because even at corporates, they ensure that if you want to follow your passion, we support you, but as long as your work is done and you build that mutual trust and respect towards the two parties.
Now, Rushika, I have a question for you. How is GEP in that way?
Very,
Are they flexible?
very supportive. They're
So
very
those of you who
supportive.
want to get a good job, contact them. It can be a very flexible place to work.
Yeah, but I agree with you. We definitely get that support to pursue our passions, and so yeah, I relate to it when you say it's important that you have that support system and backup from what you're doing.
But you also need to know how you give back to your company and like win that trust.
Yeah,
that's very important. That is the first step towards it. When they understand, they'll be very flexible with you and they will support you towards your journey.
For sure, I agree. So I think that was like actually very insightful, and hope like it created that motivation in others, who are trying to get into the industry, saying, I can do it all. Like I can do it. It's not like pick or choose, but it's about how you balance stuff. So the final question I have for today for this podcast is actually towards you, Shivi. It's about in a country like Sri Lanka and in most countries, it could be a little bit of a challenge for a girl to get into the industry, given factors like safety. Again, if you're a young person getting into the industry, you might have restrictions from your family and all of that. The nightlife may not be the ideal, at least until you get used to it. So what other avenues would you suggest for someone like that to still get into the industry and, create a name for themselves?
So, I mean, this is Sri Lanka at the end of the day, right? No matter, we are coming out of it in terms of like, stereotyping all of these, social norms and stuff like that. Where, especially for a girl, like, I'm just bringing out the story, like how I felt when I was a girl, like if I failed my O-levels.
You were a girl?
I was a little girl. I was a little girl. I'm a woman now, not a girl. Right? So, like, how I felt like if you failed your O-levels or you just end up getting married to a man and, just your life is okay. So, that's going to be your life, right? Where we've come out of that, right? Like, we've been given the opportunity to be a part of corporate lives, to be a part of, you know, the whole entertainment industry. And it's basically how we also conduct ourselves, right? And I mean, if you think that, you know, like, you know, it's not for girls and, you know, this is not for females, that's not going to help you. Like, you will probably stop, you say that, okay, you want to be a musician and you're going to either sacrifice, you know, not being able to have a family life. That's not the real story here. So you need to basically think that how, as a person, not even as a gender, like if, like as a person, how, like I said, we related back to the conversation of how we do the balancing, right? So as a female, look, even I have like kind of faced a lot of, you know, incidents where, you know, sometimes the audience will be very creepy, you know, at sometimes when there's a girl, you know, up there singing, you know, but you don't actually have to, sometimes you need to know how to conduct yourself and sometimes, you know, ignore it and just, you know, move forward. It's basically how you conduct yourself and how, because if you get offended at that moment and be like, okay, this man did this to me, this man, you know, approached me in this way, or a band member did that to me, it's gonna basically, you know, demotivate you and stop you from doing what you're doing, especially in Sri Lanka. And then you go tell your parents and they'll make a big ha-ho about it and mata mehema kara, mata meka pennuwa, hari mona hari kila kiwama, like, you know. Like, you know, I'm just saying the middle finger, okay? Like, I'm just saying, you know. You know, people can be creepy, right? Like that. You know, I have faced a lot where, you know, people give like different like cringy looks and, you know, that you basically ignore and then you start singing, you know, which made me also uncomfortable at times. But that didn't stop me from singing. Or maybe you go to a place like, I don't know, I have never faced where a corporate sector, or if like the person that I have to build, you know, a relationship in terms of, you know, maybe getting a gig or whoever being very unprofessional with me, because I conduct myself professionally. If you try to be all of that, then it's basically going to come down to a line, okay, that you need to be dependent on somebody. So basically it's how you, basically your personality and how you conduct yourself and how you put yourself out there. Like sometimes when it's a female, they think, okay, you're not matured enough, not very mature, you can take them for a ride to whatnot. So you need to show that confidence in you and basically conduct yourself likewise. And as a female, you also need to think that when you're doing music, that's not the only thing in your life. You have other factors, not even as a female, as a human, I'm just saying. How you basically focus and create your purpose towards it. And basically have that whole, in relation to your purpose, the whole work-life balance to your basically personal life, have that whole balance and make sure that you are positioned properly in a level that nobody can, you know, take advantage of you.
Yeah, so you would encourage girls to come into the industry
Of
if you
course.
wanted to, and just, I'm so glad you shared that perspective, because, you know, in a country like Sri Lanka, it's kind of hard, you know, you have these negative stereotypes saying, okay, can a girl actually survive in the industry,
it's
or
very
can you
hard.
make it? But then just knowing that, yes,
You're
it's,
demotivating people.
Yeah.
Actually.
It's very hard because you know why? It's very hard, but that shouldn't stop you, because for an example, even I was getting into the whole music industry, and then when I got to know that I was pregnant, okay, I actually broke down because I thought, okay, this is going to be the end of my music career,
yeah.
right? So I actually, it was not expected, and I was like, oh gosh, what do I do? But you know, you have good bands like this who would, you know, still encourage a female.
No, we didn't let her get on stage with a big stomach and all that.
Why I did at Colomba.
Ah, really?
Yeah, we were with a big stomach. Yeah.
Yeah, not a massive one.
Not
but
a big stomach,
I
but
thought
yeah.
you were just full. No, but
Yeah.
but I would like to add something in the sense, as a person who managed a lot of bands, and you know, I like to give a lot of people, wherever I can, I try to give opportunities to a lot of people, and I think it's very important that as musicians we do that. Everybody does that, you know, without trying to cut each other. And as a person that has been putting a lot of people into bands and getting them into gigs and all that, the biggest challenge I think a lot of female singers face is the fact that a lot of the Sri Lankan mentalities, they think she's in a band, she's easy. You know, that's the mentality a lot of our Sri Lankan people are in. They think, man, I can take her home. You know, so tip to all female singers: don't make eye contact for more than a second with anybody.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know?
I do. I just sing.
So just avoid eye contact first. You know,
As long as you want to make contact, that's
and have your select where you're playing. Make sure you play at quality places. Select the band that you're playing so that you play in good weddings or good functions, and you're not playing for riffraffs and that kind of thing. If you can manage those little things, I think you can focus. You can do your job without a problem. But as soon as you play in dingy joints or dodgy places, you're
that
gonna
is
have
gonna
problems.
come at
So-
you. But as long as you know how to conduct yourself, I don't think that will be a problem at the end of the day. But if you're feeling uncomfortable and you are not able to perform at that time, then again it goes back to what
I mean,
Shavindra
you have to
said.
pick and choose as an artist or a singer. If especially as guys, of course, you can play wherever, even on the side of a
We're
road,
not
nobody's
trying
going to
to
care.
do gender.
No, but I mean,
based.
in Sri Lanka, you have to be very picky in that way as a female singer. I think it's very important that you do so that you don't have any problems and your family, your husband or whoever doesn't have to face any issues when they come to watch you playing and all that. Because you have to understand, Sri Lankan people have a weird mentality. They think that they can just they'll stare at you the whole night and they think they can take you home.
Yeah.
Which and then you don't want your husband getting or your boyfriend getting involved when when you're performing into that kind of situation, because some of these guys are classless. They're just walking into a pub to have a drink, or they've drunk a lot earlier and then they just turn up to the event. So you have to be very careful of where you play. Pick and choose where you're playing. Guys, any boy who wants to get into a band, just play wherever it is. Bus hall, train station, in the bus even, nobody cares. But as a girl, pick and choose where you're playing, pick and choose the band you're performing in, and I think you will have you'll have less of a problem in Sri Lanka. If you're playing in classy places, you're dealing
You're
with
sorted.
classy
Actually,
people.
you're sorted. There's nothing for you to worry about, but that doesn't mean that at class places also you get
Yeah, you
weird
get
people.
on and off, but it's not going to be that much of a frequent problem. I mean, if you come to Sunset Blue on a Friday night where we play, I'm just
Putting it out there.
no, I'm joking. But you don't have that issue. A lot of girls that we know don't have an issue. But there are certain places that we have played where a lot of girls have complained about, getting groped, getting that, that creepy stare that you get. Sometimes I've got creepy stares from guys and it makes me uncomfortable. But I'm trying to say is you pick and choose where you play.
Yeah, correct.
Just to add something, like what Shivi said earlier in the previous segment also, it's also, it's not obviously not everyone's duty, but also since I played with her also in the band, it's good to have that as a male member in the band, that you take up the responsibility also, being protective a bit. So that's why she said, like, we were like kind of like a family. So I, like, if there's somebody that I felt was not behaving inappropriately, I'll step in and try to at least calm the situation. Like that, take a little bit of the responsibility. I don't expect every band member to be like trying to interfere, but then have that little bit of responsibility that you need to look after her. She's like your sister. She's like how you would look
All
after
the bands have been, they have been, even Flame, my gosh, they were like my
being protective of your female
brothers
member,
taking
band
care
member.
of me.
So many brothers.
Well, that was very insightful. Thank you for sharing all of that, guys. So that actually brings us to the end of the podcast. But before we wrap things up, do you guys want to add something? Any final words for everyone listening in who's, on two minds of should I do this or not? What would you like? I'll start with you.
Can I start?
Yeah.
My advice to a lot of musicians is, just because you have a passion towards it, don't pursue it. I know the whole podcast is about, following your passion. But when it comes to music, remember, you might have a passion, but you can be a pretty bad singer. So don't pursue it. Ask your parents. I think they'll give you the honest opinion of whether you can do it professionally or not. But I mean, you can work hard at it and get to a point, but don't just give up everything to follow your dreams. Be very careful of how you do it, and you need a lot of talent, a lot of skill, a lot of patience. All of those things have to be in the in your system to pursue. I mean, anything. I mean, if you take corporate life is different, but as a musician, I know a lot of musicians who shouldn't be doing it professionally, but they are. you know, and it's not for them. But I mean, you shouldn't be in that situation. I mean, where are you going to go from here? So just because you love to do something doesn't mean you should be doing it professionally. I mean, you can sing, you know, do open mics, go whatever, you know, those small things you can go ahead and do, but don't focus everything into, you know, one if you don't have what it takes. But you can work hard and get to a point. That's what I would like to say. Okay.
Thanks for sharing that. What about you, Shivi?
So, my advice, I mean, I'm no one to advise, but through my experience in life is basically just, you know, sometimes if you want to do, or maybe if you do have the passion to do something, just maybe don't only focus on that. Okay, you have other things that also come in life where life is a journey. So don't try to, like, you know, die on a passion, right? Make sure that with passion you also build other things in your life, like where you create the purpose of life, where you have a good family, where you respect your parents, you know, where you have a good life with your children, to your workplace, with your friends. You have that bond that you don't lose out on life, and like you don't just segregate yourself and, you know, go to that space where you come out of the whole world and be like, okay, I'm just only going to focus on this little ball. If that is for you, yes. If that's making you happy, yes. If that is your purpose, yes. But as humans, we are, I mean, for me, I'm not talking on behalf of anyone. For me, it's like I need to experience everything before I die.
Yeah.
If I die tomorrow, I have had a good family, I have lived that life, I have also focused on my passion, I've also met corporates and done my job where that is my happiness. Where for someone else it could be different. So I can't basically compare myself to another person in terms of what to do. But as a female, if you have that passion, just don't let go of other things of your life, and maybe later on in your life you might regret that you weren't able to do the other things in your life because of this. So fulfill your passion. You can do it with the support system, and, you know, life is a beautiful journey.
Yeah.
It's basically you live the moment and you enjoy the present.
You preach it, girl.
Yeah, so basically you don't have to, like, you know, sometimes I feel like people like do a lot of things to, like, you know, focus on the future, right? They save so much and they do so much of things where they don't live in the present. They don't give attention to their kids or to their spouse or to the place that they work. They just focus so much on saving money and working so hard, not enjoying. They're not going out, they're not having a life, they're not going on trips, you know. You need to have all of that. Life is about that. So tomorrow if you die, the future is gone.
Yeah, everything.
Just enjoy it right now and just live the life that you deserve, right?
It was definitely insightful and motivational. Thanks for sharing that, Shivi. And finally, Viro,
How
what
do
do
I follow that now?
you can try.
I can try, nah? Well, I'm not going to say similar kind of ideology when it comes to advice, but then I would just say, just keep it short, saying, grab any opportunity that comes your way. Don't be afraid. Just whatever comes, whatever type of like it can be opportunity. Like I said, like it may be just a simple gig. It may be starting off at some small restaurant near your house. If you get an opportunity to follow, I'm talking about music.
Yeah.
Even if you have other passions, like if you're into photography, any opportunity that you get, any passion that you have, grab any opportunity you get. Don't be afraid and see where it goes. That's everything is a small step forward. Every step is in the right direction, at least, even if it's a short step.
Yeah. If it's not for you, it's not the end of the world.
Try
right?
it and see. Yeah. You might go a bit of a distance in that route, and then you decide, no, it's not for me. You can always change. I made so many changes. I got into engineering. I became an engineering lecturer. Then I moved into engineering in accounting. And I'm a musician. I was in the corporate world. I made changes. You can always change. You can always change your routes, but you have to go down that path and then decide. If you don't go down that path, you don't grab the opportunities, you will always have regret. Let's just change directions. You can always move around. That's no problem.
And just to add on that, like, you know, say a lot of people also think like, okay, if you do engineering, you have to commit your life towards engineering, and sometimes it's the thing that you don't even like to do. You might have studied it, but then at the end of the day, when you're actually working on it, it's something that you don't really want. So you don't have to really commit on a thing that you don't want to do. So you can change. It's never too late.
For sure. Well, I mean, that was really, really helpful even to me, and I'm sure for everyone tuning in, you were able to grab something out of it. And if you're someone who's passionate about music, I hope that ignited a spark in you to actually put yourself out there. It certainly did in me. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to come on the show. I really appreciate it. And we'll be back soon with another episode of GEPic Journeys. Until then, bye.
Thank you, Ru.
If you enjoyed that video, make sure to like and subscribe to the GEP YouTube channel. And we also have a bunch of very interesting practical short courses which are related to the episodes from the podcast. So stay tuned.